I'm joined here by the CEO of FIDE, Emil Sutovksy. Hello, Emil. Emil, we are here right after London, and a very exciting event just got over, which was a FIDE event, but you were in a different role. There, you were the captain of Team Freedom. And not only did you guys participate, but also won a bronze medal, which was in the rapid section. How was it for you personally?
No, it's exciting event. Obviously, it's already for the third year I'm serving as a captain. And first year it was a freedom team in Düsseldorf. Second year it was Chelsea team, and once again this year backed by freedom. I think it's sort of a special event which allows for 5 days, at least for myself, for 5 days of the event and a bit in the preparatory part to to get back into these good old days of a chess atmosphere, being inside the chess tournament, chess competition of the very top players, but also of a festival format. So I enjoyed it immensely. Knowing me, you would probably guess that bronze medal, or like this year or last year, or silver medal like it was in the first year, is not something I dreamt of, but still I'm quite happy that we had a team, and I think we had an excellent teams. The atmosphere was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, I think the amount of effort that you put in as your role as a captain is very interesting to see. I think it's very difficult to even bring you into your other roles at that point. I think you're completely dedicated in this role. Yeah.
Well, it has to be like that because from the moment when I knew that I'm going to captain the team, I completely distanced from every organizational matter, because otherwise I would have some sort of an advantage which shouldn't have happened. So that's why I distanced, and I wasn't a part of any, I don't know, appointments, decisions, appeal decisions, or whatever. So I was solely there in my captain's role. We had a nice team. We didn't. I didn't aim to have a team with highest rated players possible, because even after Vadim Rosenstein composed his team or teams, there were some higher players than the ones I invited. But for me, it was important to have a good atmosphere, to have a team of people who are both very strong players, but also very nice to be around. And I think this worked brilliantly, and I enjoyed. I wanted to say every minute. No, when we lost, I didn't enjoy it, but I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, the team was actually very interesting. I think even Anish spoke about it in his interview. He mentioned that players were very interestingly chosen. They were not the highest rated like Sam Sevian, Haik Martirosyan, but these are very good rapid and blitz players. So I think a lot of thought went into choosing. I mean, of course, you had Vishy and Muzichuk who are like world class players, but apart from that, also the players who were chosen were very interesting.
Yes, I tried to do my best, and I think it also allowed, for example, Sam, you mentioned Sam shown in this event with his playing. I mean, he played couple of absolutely brilliant games, and those spectators who actually wonder about high quality chess in the event, I think two of the best games in the competition belong to Sam. His win versus Firuja and versus Grishchuk are absolutely outstanding, and they indicate enormous potential. I knew Sam quite well, let's say 10 years ago, because when he was growing up, I had the one long training session with him, and he came over to work with me for a week or something like that, maybe 8 days. And I knew of his potential, and still think that his potential, although he is 2700 player or about it, is still not fully matching. I mean, his results are not yet fully matching his potential. So I expect some sort of a possible breakthrough still in Sam's career.
Brilliant. And also, how was it? to be like captaining the team where Vishy was there? You have done it before, but with every passing year, it feels like Vishy would not play so well. But this year as well, he surprised everyone. He scored a wonderful win with Arjun, some very solid draws. How was it for you, his performance?
Well, having Vishy in a team is first of all a privilege. I mean, it's not only about his playing skills, which are still very high, and I think speaking of Vishy, scoring a solid draw is not something that he would be pleased to hear as a compliment to his result. I think Vishy still, as every very top player, retains this ambition no matter his age. I think Vishy's contribution was dual. He was not maybe at his best form anyways, because he could have scored more, in particular in Blitz. There were several misses both in qualifying stage and more painfully in the final stage. But he contributed enormously also to the atmosphere in the team, because between the rounds we gathered and he would share advices, and the same Sam which I mentioned earlier, he told me after that it was very important for him that before each game he could have 2-3 minutes with Vishy to discuss the opening for the next game or to get some tips.
Wow.
And Vishy was very proactive, advising here and there to almost everyone, not to everyone, but I mean those who needed his advice, and he was very. I mean, it's just great to have Vishy in
Right.
the team. Again, he's also a player who I don't think he should be seen as a veteran who can occasionally play a good game. I mean, yes, we will not see Vishy number one in the world anymore, unfortunately. But on a good day, he is not in. I mean, he is capable
Right.
to beat, not just to play, but to beat absolutely everyone, and still so. And I think at least for a few years more, it will remain like that. And I just hope that he will play a bit more often, because when you don't play with all your understanding, knowledge, intuition, and genius which is inside you, when you don't play, when you don't practice enough, it slowly, your ability slowly goes down. So I just hope that Vishy will play a bit more, and I believe that he will be a force to reckon with for a few more years.
Amazing. Yeah, he's going to play in Lyon soon, so that would be interesting to follow. There was one more player. I think you played a huge role in him doing well here. That is Mani Sarbartho. He is 9 years old, from India, this young boy. And I was there in London following all of it. And you were there for him always, after the games, before the games, and you were spending a lot of time, I think, with him post the games as well, preparation before you came to the tournament. His parents mentioned that you spent like quite some time messaging him, telling him about how he can improve. So could you tell us a bit about Sarbartho, and how you approach this entire recreational board that he was part of, Team Freedom?
Yes, I could talk less about it, but let's first. I want to maybe to finish the whole chapter with about the team, because I didn't mention other players, and they were
Yes. Um,
actually critical for the success of the team and for the atmosphere. And I absolutely have a feeling that we have to mention both the players and their contribution, because a part of Vishy and Sam was playing board two. I mean, Sam was mostly playing board two. Board two in Rapid was Rauf Mamedov, who started brilliantly, but then he dropped a bit, and that took him out of his, let's say, good mood and best his best chess. He has been on the rise recently, and he won a number of events. Unfortunately, in London, after a good start, after a very good start, he couldn't contribute much to the team. Sam we mentioned. Then there was my old time friend Quang Liem. Vietnamese player who lives in USA nowadays. He doesn't play frequently. He plays very few events. He oversees the educational programs in one of American universities, chess program. And but I knew that he's still very strong player, in particular with faster time control. And since we had this very good personal relation for many years, since he played in Aeroflot. I remember we met there. It was like 15 years ago or something like that. He was one of my first picks, let's say, for the team, and he contributed very much to the good result of the team. And then there was Alexis Sarana, and then there was Haik Martirosyan, very strong rapid and blitz players, also classical players, but rapid and blitz very strong ones. I do think that they a bit underperformed, and I know of their true capabilities, and they did reasonably well, but they could do even better. And apart of Anna Muzichuk, we had Teodora Injac from Serbia. She's a brilliant player and she's a real fighter. I enjoyed having her in the team, and I think it was brilliant to see her interaction with Mani, passing to Mani, and Sam's interaction, because it was really feeling of like older sister or older brother, and it felt so well. It really felt special.
Amazing.
So yeah, I'd like to thank all these players, and then passing to Mani, of course, he was, a special, let's put it, star of the team in a way, because there was so much attention for him. And yeah, I'm happy that this event provided him both with an opportunity, but also not only to play, because just to play, it's not, it is
Mm.
great. It's not just about that. It's about how to, how to prepare for the event, to feel himself as a part of a team with real stars, with Vishy being there, with me guiding him through. I mean, since we started interacting back in April. And Sagar, I have to blame you because it was initially one of the names which you suggested for me to look into and to consider for the team. And I have to say, it didn't take me long to like Sarbartho.
But I thought like I would recommend, but in general, you had an entire sort of tests and so on. Like you didn't consider there were games he had to play and then an interview. So you did your research after that.
Indeed, I would tell you why the choice was there. You would be surprised. It was not for the games. Although I liked one of his games, you had a video of this when he wins with black against a young girl in a bishop ending, where he has a very nice maneuvers with a bishop, then to penetrate with a bishop and wins a bishop endgame. But that was not the reason, and not the fact that many people think, okay, any Indian junior is underrated 200 points. That's not true. By the way, my fellow Indian colleagues, this time has gone,
Yes,
and it's not like that anymore.
correct.
And I think also Mani is not severely underrated. Maybe slightly underrated, but not due to being Indian, but due to being kid. And That's not about it. The main thing which distinguished Mani, we call him Mani, not Sharbato, because it's
It's
just the way.
easier.
Yeah, it's easy. Is his eyes. Basically, his shining eyes. When you look at him, you immediately see that these eyes indicate such a passion, such a talent, such a smartness, and such a something special about the person, about the kid. Actually, I have this theory that eyes are very good confirmation of the talent. It doesn't mean that if you, I mean, they are very top players, and even the best players in history, maybe, that have nothing in particular about their eyes, the way their eyes look. But you don't have to have this set of eyes to look. But it's very good indicator. Look at young Kasparov. Look at Tal. Look at Lasker in past. Look today at Prague, at Vaishali. You can see this. I mean, Giri when I first met Giri, who was 12 by then, I mean, you look at his eyes, you understand that the guy is absolutely bright.
So the eyes basically light up. That's what you're saying.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's a very good sign. Once again, it's not like a verdict. If you don't have lit up eyes, you're not going to make it far. No, it's not like that. But this was a very good, very very strong sign for me, and I immediately spotted that there must be something special about the kid. And then I saw his games, and one feature which I noted immediately was his enormous talent, gift to tackle endings, to maneuver in endings, and so on. The geometry for pieces in ending, be it rook endings or bishops, is just outstanding. Is mature to a level of a very strong master player or even grandmaster player.
Wow.
Yes. And in addition to that, he has a very good geometrical vision for short calculations, combinations, short ones. What he doesn't have, he's still very poor in building up the game, let's say, because you have to approach the game to build a, let's say, strategical battle, how the structures work, and so on. He still relies on some sort of background, which probably was okay when he was, let's say, 1500 player, but not so much okay now when he uh, strives to lock the position as possible and then to try to maneuver, even if he doesn't have enough space. And several of his losses could be attributed to that. Let's say in French, sometimes he just builds up some sort of fortress where he maneuvers and often even outmaneuvers his opponent, but it's not the right way to grow. And I already indicated it, and I think Mani will work on that going forwards. Of course, as every kid, he during the game there is a lot of distraction. He wants to see what's going on other boards. He um, he relaxes often too early, thinking that he won the game, or he vice versa. The things are not going exactly his way, so he loses his mood and can go down without much of a fight. A lot of stuff going on because it's a kid, right?
Mm.
But his passion for chess is enormous because after the games, between the games, he was ready and willing to analyze, to play, to talk about chess, to ask questions. So he has, because in order to grow, you need to have some special gifts. So his endgame is really something special already. His ability to short calculate, and he has this, in modern chess, it's I would call it tactical counterattack, not a strategical when you are on defensive and then you switch to counterattack, but also when you are being attacked. So he's not looking for a defense, he's looking for a way to counterattack. So your piece is attacked, but instead of protecting or removing, he attacks your piece. And that is a pattern which he is very good at already. So I think if approached properly, he has a bright future. I would not rush to proclaim he's gonna be a very top player soon. It's too early to say, but he definitely have already a couple of very, very strongholds upon which he can build more and more.
Also, his parents are quite dedicated. They were there throughout, so that is very cool.
You interrupted me here.
Oh, sorry.
Exactly
Yeah.
at the moment, I wanted to talk about the parent because he has absolutely outstanding parents. Because I have met many, many, many parents, chess parents in my life, and his are outstanding. They are both dedicated, but they are also very reasonable. They're delicate. They also understand where to let him free, but where to get his hold of him. So I think they play a large role in his career, and I think he's very lucky to have such a supporting parents. And I believe that with all this attitude plus with the support which India typically gives for its talent. I mean, we could hear of a new grandmaster within a couple of years, but again, it's not gonna be a wonder overnight and by itself. It's still a lot of work to be done, and let's say I gave him I can't say that I coached him, right? But I gave him several advices. Some of them were very quickly implemented. For example, uh, when he prepared for the event, there were several problems in the opening, and he didn't go. I mean, we didn't have a chance to like properly work on the openings. But I noticed that there's some really, really, really big problems, and in particular, I'm quite happy with what happened with his shift. You could see that in first games in the championship, he played e4.
Yes.
He didn't do quite well. I mean, not only in terms of result. I mean, he didn't tackle the positions well. And then I had to come up with something that would be more suitable for his style. And then I proposed the concept of d4, knight f3, g3, which he played then throughout the event with a remarkable success.
And it's the
And
first time he played this, yes?
yes,
Oh my
yes. And
God.
the first game he played was against a guy who had 100% before this game, a talented guy from Kazakhstan, named Islam, and we needed to quickly prepare. So I showed him what happens if d4, d5, the system which he played afterwards was knight bd2, b3, bishop b2, c4. And then the question was what happens after d6? And I realized that if we go now in length about the king's India and c4, I simply can't explain him all the intricacies. And I told him, now you'll play rook e1, you prepare e4, and probably your opponent gonna play c5 to actually to prevent it. And then we have the idea: d takes on d8 and c3. And imagine what happens that it appeared on the board just 10 minutes after I taught
Oh.
him the system. And I just said, okay, so he play knight a3, bishop e3, and you'll have a very pleasant endgame. And that was a very reassuring, when that's the difference between a kid and working with any grown-up player. Because if a grown-up player, you show him the system, rook e1, and what happens after other moves? What if knight bd7? What and so on. With a kid, he would actually grasp the ideas or the thoughts or rely on you much more often, and it works. Of course, it doesn't work in 100% of cases, but here it worked, and it works generally when you are at least having some idea behind it, but it should not be bluff, right? I mean, I would never show some trap based on a poor move, which would succeed. If no, rook e1 is one of the best moves in this position, but the idea was in particular to get this line, and look what happened. So c3, knight c6, I think bishop e3, knight d7, knight a3, b6, yeah, and here. What I like here is that here Mani he saw knight d4 immediately, and before the tournament we spoke to him, and I told him, look, you're playing too fast. You should not go too fast, because if you see a move which you think is winning or very good, there's no reason to play it too fast. If you're winning, okay, spend a minute, but maybe you'll find why it's not winning. And here I saw his hand. He raised it, and then checked and raised it and checked, and it took him like almost 3 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
Play knight d4, but eventually he played this move. It's a critical move, because that's exactly the reason why black is not okay. Because otherwise, if black were in time to play bishop b7, black would be equal. But knight d4, and it's not so trivial for rapid chess, actually. But I want to continue with that, because the game didn't quite finish with with d, bishop a8, ef2, king f2. Because to convert such a position, you also need quite a skill. Once again, he played with a player who had a tremendous tournament. And watch Mani now maneuvering. This is what I liked a lot. So bishop goes to f3. He is not scared of any trade. And here he realized that the most important thing for him is to basically to capture the D file. And let's move, him rook c7. So his opponent understands what's going on. Rook c7, he prevents, he doesn't trade, and looks like black has decent compensation. But knight b4, very strong move. Again, Mani can be sometimes really deadly with this. Knight goes not to d4, not some sort of a, typical move, capturing center, preventing bishop c5 check, but knight b4 because he spots this knight a6. Bishop b5, yeah, probably the best defense, preventing. Rook d8, king g7, knight d3. Again, he understands very well what has to be traded and what has to be on board. Once again, that's a feature of a big player. You remember this famous Botvinnik, Tal versus Botvinnik, where Tal sacrificed in Caro-Kann piece, but Botvinnik actually managed
Yes.
to refute it and won. And then after the game, Tal kept saying this line, that line, and Botvinnik said, "Yeah, but I just understood that I need to trade light pieces and to remain with heavy pieces." The funny thing was that almost the same was said by Magnus now in Norway chess in the game against Arjun, and Arjun didn't understand that you have to trade rooks, and I think there was queen and rook versus queen and rook. He had to trade queen and to remain with two rooks to block the b pawn. So sometimes it is not about concrete lines, and in target generation, it's overwhelmingly about concrete lines. And here, what I like about Mani is that he's thinking, at least in endgame part, very much thinking in terms of which pieces to trade. And here as well, it went knight d3. If you realize he needs to change, rook d4. And look at the bar. It almost doesn't drop, or it doesn't grow too quickly. Both are playing reasonably here, but again, maneuvers of Mani knight b4. He once again aiming to trade the pieces.
King
King
g2.
g4. Yes, prophylactic move avoiding bishop c5. Because this, and bishop b4 probably decisive mistake. I mean, the position is probably lost, but still quite technique still required. But bishop b4 is a bad practical decision.
Right.
And look at the way Mani maneuvers with his rooks. Even Vishy singled out, wow, the way he maneuvers. Yeah, but take it back. Once again, I'm sorry, it was too quick. Rook e5 goes to e3.
Sorry. Yes.
Rook is on e5. It's in a commanding position. It looks like it can play b5, maybe supported by pawns f4, but he spots immediately where to go. So rook e3, bringing the rook to a file to attack the only weakness in black's position. Rook goes to a3. Black trades. Maybe black should have tried rook c7, but again, it's not too easy to win this position. I know much stronger players than Mani who wouldn't have won it in rapid. Rook a1 back, so he spots again the idea. Now he wants to have a control of the first rank and then to bring a king. Rook a5 goes after pawn. Rook c2.
Wow. Okay.
And very quickly executed the calculation to convert to pawn again. So of course,
Beautiful
even
game.
doesn't play such a games too often. I mean, it's exceptional game from the opening phase to conversion. I would wish that out of his what it is, so almost 30 games in the tournament, or more than 30 games, he would have half his games like that. No, he didn't. But it shows enormous potential. It shows that he got something special in his play, and I really am hopeful that he will manage to develop it.
Yeah, these are brilliant insights, Emil, and also the amount of effort that you've put in to just sort of groom him. I think this will be a huge impact in his career. So this is just brilliant.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had I was lucky to have worked with a dozen of top players in my life. I mean, I had a chance to work a bit with Kasparov, with Karpov, a lot with Gata, a lot with Gelfand, a lot with Rajabov, with Judith Polgar, and so on and so forth. I never had really an opportunity to work for a long time with a young kid who is very talented, and I don't think I will ever have, because nowadays or in the foreseeable future I don't see myself as a coach, although I enjoy enormously interacting with young talents and helping them with these bits of insights, because I still think that the generation which grows now on a computer approach on more modern ways to grasp information still lacks some important knowledge which players of my generation could pass to them. But for me, I mean, even this occasional opportunity to share with the knowledge, experience, maybe some subtleties, I think it was a very pleasing experience, and I enjoyed it. And Mani's father also asked me to keep helping him in the future. I would be pleased to guide him here and there. Of course, once again, I don't have time for any dedicated approach. So if you hear about Mani's successes attributed to himself, to his parents, to his constant coaches, but I would try to be a helping hand here and there.
Brilliant. And also at the event on the last day, I took this picture of you with Isai Scheinberg. And maybe I just wanted to ask you, they were the main sponsors of this event, I believe, and they have been a very big supporters of chess over the years. Could you tell a bit about their role and in general about the gentlemen and like just your interaction with the Scheinberg family?
Well, I met Isai Scheinberg already 8 or 9 years ago back in Isle of Man, when the event there was not a part of FIDE events. And somehow we got along quite well. And ever since we established some sort of a personal contact relationship. And Isai is a huge chess lover. He comes from the chess family, not many people know that, because his father was competing for Olympic team of Lithuania in the Olympiads before World War II, when Lithuania had their team. So you could even Google it. So it is a devotion which passes. It's already like about 100 years ago. His father competed there. I think it was 1930. So it's almost 100 years. And he started supporting chess out of, let's say, his memories. His father was even alive back then. He lived a very long life until late 90s. And when we met, we had many discussions, and he asked about the ways we're gonna do it. And by that time, I was a ACP president, and we agreed that he would somehow support. And then when I moved to FIDE, I asked him to keep supporting, and he kindly agreed that he would support one major FIDE event every year.
Wow.
And ever since, starting 2019, we have been enjoying their support. I also met his son, who two of his sons, but one of his sons who is immediately involved also in chess events, who actually was behind the idea to stage candidates 2022 in Madrid, because they had some also. I mean, they own number of businesses, so for them the locations is also important. And ever since Isai backed it, the three Grand Swiss events in 2019, 21, and 23 were staged thanks to their contribution as well. And this year it was a question what to do, because Uzbekistan wanted to stage Grand Swiss. So I spoke to Isai and explained him that we have Uzbekistan who is willing to host Grand Swiss. Would you support World Rapid and Teams instead? and he asked many questions. And I have to say that when he visited the championship, he visited twice. He visited on the last day of Rapid and on the last day on Blitz, and he didn't like, all many sponsors or donors, they would come to closing ceremony or opening ceremony only. He was around the games. He's a passionate player, not a very strong player, but he's a passionate player. He plays online, but typically not Rapid or Blitz. He plays, say, correspondence when he have one move per day time control. And he plays simultaneously many games like that, and he enjoys it enormously. And he liked a lot the atmosphere and the concept. He likes that he saw many kids, many local players, many representatives of various countries, and the idea of having a player who is not necessarily top player, but brings something, be it a young player or being a player who is, I don't know. We saw now in London many players who were strong players in past, and then they quit chess and had an opportunity to get back to the game. So it was an enjoyable experience for players, but also I'm happy that Isai was very supportive of the format, and I think he might be backing the event next year as well.
Wonderful. That's very nice to know. And Emil, what's next for FIDE for yourself? What's coming up?
Well, FIDE never sleeps. I think we should add it as a second logo next to Gensun Asumas. So the next big one is Women's World Cup in Batumi. It starts in 2 weeks now. In 2 weeks now, and it's gonna be an exciting event, both per se, but both also as a qualifier to women's candidates. Uh, we expanded also the field, so now the record number of participants taking part, 107, and we feel that this provides opportunity to so many younger players and players from various regions, and also for the top players who didn't qualify for one reason or another, but were provided with a wild card. It's just it's just an event where you can see so many both already top players but emerging talents. I think the same can be said about the Grand Swiss, which is in September. Once again, it provides a lot of opportunity, and that's where the emerging talents have a chance to basically make make news about themselves. All these young generations, they I would say they grew up on these Grand Swisses and World Cups. All the best Indian players, let's say Prague, or Gukesh or Arjun. I remember when, as young kids, they were given wild cards for these events because they didn't qualify by ratings. And I think Riga 2021,
I
that
think
was.
Nihal got it in 2019 and
Oh,
he
yes,
played very
yes.
well,
Mhm.
beating Safarli, and it was amazing.
No, I think it's very very important, and both for female players. We finally have after some stagnation which was seen, let's say, in pre-pandemic times, and I think also as a result of not exactly good work of previous administration in terms of women tournaments. We had a situation that even a few years ago, all the top players were the same like 10 years ago. Just you would look at the Grand Prix, you would look at, I mean, all the same, all the names were from 2000, I don't know, 2012 and 2020 was very much alike. Maybe only Goryachkin, I mean, was a new addition. But now you have a lot of younger players and good players, and I think it's also providing an opportunity, which is very important for us, to provide an opportunity for female players to make their career in chess, not just to enjoy themselves playing, because after all, they also need to if they decide on a career, they need to know what's an upside if they manage to make it to top 10, that they would be invited, they would be earning reasonable money, but they would also have a good coverage for the events. So we are obviously striving to that. And one last aspect, you have been to London, and I think many singled out we always strive to increase the level of organization for the events. I mean, it's very important that these events are organized nicely. It's of course there would be some let's say some decisions, some arbitrary decision, which but I'm talking about the way the event is organized, how the venue looks, how the players feel comfortable at the event, and I think we managed to raise the bar. And once again, it's event we're talking about of the events with hundreds of participants. So it's important that we keep doing this job. In parallel, of course, there are many programs which I mentioned previously, and the biggest one in terms of grassroots programs is the World School Championship, which is going to be in Washington the beginning of August, and that's another very big project, and we expect many countries to take part. Now, not so easy for some countries to get visa to US, and that jeopardizes a bit I mean, our aim to have as many countries as possible. We have funds for that, but we don't necessarily have may get a permission for every country, and that's a bit disappointing. But we still continue this work, and we expect still many teams to take part in Washington.
And what about the World Cup? Will it happen in India? This is one question that is on the minds of a lot of fans. And perhaps there was some news that sprouted out in between, but it's not, I think, officially announced by FIDE. So, are there any updates there?
I don't think I can share anything because as long as it is not signed, it can be announced. I just can say that it's not signed formally at this point. But I mean, the expectation is still there.
Well, Emil, we spoke about many different subjects and very interesting one. On the final note, I want to ask you about a couple of tweets that you made, and these were related to Gotham Chess and in general. I can bring that up. This was one of the tweets, first one, and then later on there was another tweet which was made here, and there were a lot of comments that flowed after it. Also, I think there was a video made on it. And what are your thoughts? Would you like to speak a bit about this subject? Because okay, in this tweet, even I'm involved a bit, as you mentioned, YouTuber G versus YouTuber S, and
How did you guess? How did you guess it was you?
also with the subscriber count saying 3 times. So it does uh, mention these facts, but the main thing is, of course, my personal take, which is that Levy contributes in terms of a lot of people getting into chess, which I did mention in tweet and also on his video. I don't know if you had the time to check his video, or if you could talk on this.
I even didn't know that he released a video to that effect, so I certainly didn't check it, and I even didn't know that it was. My position is simple about that. I always said, and it is in public domain. It's not something in private conversations, and in interviews, and also including yourself, but also in the studios of FIDE, that bloggers, video bloggers, streamers, Twitchers, they all contribute to rising interest for chess. That's no doubt about that. But it just shouldn't be taken out of proportion. I mean, I'm not a politician. I don't have to be a nice guy. I mean, your tweet was very classy. It's easy to be classy, but it's more difficult to speak your mind, even if somebody would not like it. So I'm not aiming at being here like trying to please everyone. I do believe that there is important role for all streamers, in particular for streamers who are having 5-6 million subscribers. Of course, it is important. I never said it is not. I just don't think that when Levy calls himself one of the three chess players who are recognized. First of all, he's not exactly a chess player who is recognized. He's a streamer who is recognized. Let's make a difference. I also think that putting oneself ahead of Kasparov, Vishy, or even Gukesh. I'm not mentioning Fischer now. I think is simply not only not unfair, not in modest. It's just wrong factually. I mean, really. I mean, people still know these huge big names. And yeah, I saw Levy's comment, but I don't think anything was out of context. It's exactly what he was asked and exactly what he answered. Actually, if you check his polygraph test with Danny Range, it was like last year, something like that. He also addresses that when he's asking, is he the most influential streamer? He says, well, that's not the question. The question is whether I am the most influential person in the world of chess. And now I have to say that I completely disagree with the paradigm that streamers are among most influential people in chess. Of course not. I mean, they have their subscribers who enjoy their videos, and that's nice, that's important, that's a content which provide a lot of entertainment. But entertainment is overvalued in today's world. Money in chess largely doesn't come from the entertainment world. As a person who overviewed last year's events of FIDE for total budget of over 50 million euro, I can tell it for sure. That's not where the let's say the real interest comes from. I mean, people are subscribing, people enjoy the content. Some of them, I don't know how exactly to measure the conversion rate. Some of them would be actually starting playing chess more seriously, but not many. Think about it. How many followers even Magnus has? Think about it. So if you are serious about chess, how can you be not subscribed to Magnus? I mean, greatest player who tweets or posts regularly, and who is really charismatic and who has, special moments, good or bad. But but still, you cannot compare it with not only with football, with tennis, with almost anything. So the conversion is not happening there, or happening at a very low rate, and that's important to understand. And when
Conversion into what would you say?
into people who would really follow what's going on in the chess world rather than following what's going on Levy's channel or Anna Crumming's channel or Bota's sister channels. All of them are doing nice content, but does it really have a very strong connection with what's happening in the chess world? Does it really have like impact, influence? Not much, I would say. That is something that let's say, we are being fed with, that okay, this is very important, that is but it's not exactly where it's come. Of course, there will be redditors who would come and comment and put negative comments, and I don't know how it works exactly with the connection with other entities. But it is very clear that people who come for content and people who are here in the chess world, who are following chess events, who are playing even, they are not exactly connected. It's not the conversion rate here is very low, and that's why I do not believe that we can talk about the let's say really massive impact of streamers, or even let's say when we talk about chess.com, who allegedly has 200 something million users, but even not allegedly, but those who are proactive users, they're like 60 millions who are really active and playing. But once again, you can see that they're playing, they just come to play chess. It's great. It's really great that they come to play, enjoy our game. That's great. But it doesn't, once again, when it doesn't connect to other parts of ecosystem, you cannot automatically say, okay, I have 60 million members, I have 6 million subscribers, and so on. I'm most impacting person. Because after all, when you see the real life tournaments, when you see real life grassroots programs, when you see real life educational programs, when you see social events, these are things which are maybe not seen, maybe not promoted enough, because maybe some media resources are missing. but they are, in a nutshell, more important for society. And to come to get entertainment is nice, but I mean, somebody would go for Mr. Beast, but is Mr. Beast with his hundreds of millions of subscribers is among the most influential people in the world? I don't think so. I mean, it's not exactly working like that. Said that, I mean, I think many people misinterpret what I have been saying, because I have never said that, look, what Levy is doing is not important, or he's not famous. Of course he's famous. And of course it's important what he's doing, because simply because even the sheer numbers is so big that inevitably there would be some people who would be attached to the game as a result, and the kids maybe, or the kids already, they will pick up the game. That's good. I just say that if I choose between two approaches, one of which happened to be yours, my choice with a ghost person who is let's say whose approach is more dedicated and more aimed at the, let's say, chess angle of it rather than the content angle of it. And in general, it's not obviously not aimed against Gothamchess, against Levy, or against any other person who is doing that. I think that in a nutshell, the entertainment part is nice, but its impact is overvalued. Or it's not. I mean, people think that somebody who has more subscribers is the one who has most influence or impact, but that's not the case.
These are very interesting points you mentioned. I just want to talk about one point out of this on this subject. You mentioned about hosting events last year, like organizing events to the tune of 50 million. That's a lot of money that flows into chess. Isn't reach one of the important elements of raising this fund? And wouldn't these people who are watching it, even if casually, have that reach which actually can bring in money? If you could mention that, or throw your thoughts on that.
It is, but it isn't. Reach per se is not a critical factor for most, let's say, decision makers, because reach in Wall Street Magazine, Wall Street Journal, reach on TV, like in Norway, reach in major newspapers, and reach in shorts or clips of content creator is not the same reach. You know yourself, you have dozens of clips with many millions of views, like many millions. Anish Giri wins some unimportant endgame versus Vasif Dvarbeli in the Blitz game. Short, which has, I don't know, 12 million views. What impact does it have? Can you tell me? As a content creator, so many clips you have, it's not exactly I mean, it's sort of a I would say artificial number, which is, the number itself is correct, but the sound of it is let's say sometimes is over overestimated. So when we talk with, and I talk with many, both companies, governments, East and West, and you saw the geography of our events. And by the way, you didn't mention one fact, maybe you missed it, but the FIDE World Championship match in Singapore was just awarded with
Yes.
the best
Yes.
sportive event held in Singapore for the entire year. Uh, that's not what the be it the government or Google would be interested to see if it appears in more number of shorts. Yes, it plays some role. Yes, it's nice if the logo of the company, like Freedom's logo, which was inside many of your videos, for example. Yes, it can be a nice addition here and there, but no, it's at least for now, it has not been critical for economy of the events. Look at freestyle chess. They had absolutely everyone in the events, including yourself. All the best YouTubers, streamers, content creators. I mean, who wasn't there? Can you tell me? Everybody was there, right? All the top ones.
Yeah.
Did it really help? Did it really help to freestyle to generate income? No, it didn't. I mean, no matter what people would say, it didn't. It made, yes, more people knew about it, but it didn't change the in a nutshell, it didn't change the, let's say, economics of the thing. The project is alive due to investment from the company, which came before, and is in doubt whether it will continue. But even if it will continue, it will not continue because of the views, because it's still not something that is generating enough interest for, because these views actually have to be converted. Once again, they should be interested for those who will pay for ads into this product. The audience, the premium audience that would look at it on TV screens and so on. It's still, yes, I know that there is a shift towards other platforms and including YouTube, but it's still not about the content creators. And I think when you calculate CPM, so the value for a spectator, it's still significantly lower if you talk about the content creators compared to others. Otherwise, think about it. If this would have worked, with all these content creators who work, let's say, very closely with chess.com, like Hikaru and Levy and everyone, they would, if your thesis was correct, they would already generate championships which could have run, I don't know, for a budget of many millions solely, entirely from this generated views. But it doesn't happen. Why doesn't it happen? Why the same chess.com cut down the number of live events of theirs? Very simple, because not because they're greedy, they want to. And I met with Danny several times about that. And it's very clear this is not something that produces enough interest to be, say, for event to be sold. Nobody can come to, I don't know, to Google and say, look, we will have 50 million views of shorts from this tournament. It just doesn't work. And now, of course, all these guys who are subscribed to content creators might felt that who is this Emil who is talking? He's not famous or he is not known. My role is not to be known. My role to them. My role is to help chess in various ways. Sometimes it's not sexy. I mean, it's when you are selling some social projects, it's not sexy. Nobody would click on it. But for government or sometimes for the company, it's important that they do something which is they support something meaningful. And I have to say that many private companies or even streamers, they could do maybe more to do something with the social and educational part, because nowadays it is almost entirely up to FIDE or national federations who work with us to run these programs. And at the end of the day, all these are benefiting, as well as they say that FIDE is benefiting from streamers' work. That's partly true, but the opposite is also true, because when we have these grassroots programs where kids start playing chess, then they connect or become much more, let's say, loyal visitors for the content which is given online.
Okay.
And we are talking about dozens of millions of kids who are exposed to chess through our programs in schools and education and so on. Once again, it's not. Again, I want to stress it. It's not to undermine anyone's importance. It is just to have things in proportion and to have a real picture. And yeah, there are two ways to approach it. One is to create as much entertainment to keep people entertained, and the second is to have, let's say, more dedicated to chess part of it. And I just said that if I have to if there is a, let's say, there is two ways, and I think the one which is more sustainable and which at the end of the day retains many more spectators and fans who become a part of ecosystem is the one which is championed by yourself, and not I'm not here to to compliment you. I mean, people know well enough what you're doing, but that's about the perception. Said that, I'm very happy that Levy has so many subscribers, and if he has even more, it would be even greater, because even at a smaller conversion rate, there will be people who will be then becoming a part of a big ecosystem, will start to play competitions, will come to OTB, will take lessons, will buy some products and become. I mean, because we need to. It's the entire ecosystem must grow. We cannot just rely on people who will only click on content and see what happens, and that's it. Because what in effect, in essence, what does it give to chess society? Just to have someone who watches the content and to get some entertainment from some Blitz game or from some blunder or from Magnus being shown for 1,000 times in various ways. I mean, the chess world is much bigger. And finally, one big thing, I want to stress it again, not because you're an Indian channel, but the entire narrative, due to the language, due to the, of course, the entire way it is built, it is very, very, very much US oriented or Western oriented. But the chess world is much bigger, not only about India. I mean, you have so many countries, and I think the whole narrative is around that, and it's not correct. I not only that I feel bad about, let's say, Gukesh being not, let's say, valid enough, or sometimes I saw some report where Gukesh was mentioned, just GM Gukesh, even without mentioning that he's a world champion, and by one of the leading journalists recently. But in general, there's so many things happening in the world outside of US. I mean, not India. Leave India aside now. I don't know, Indonesia or Turkey or Spain. These things, I keep telling you that, and in the last interview, I think I touched on that. These things also require much, much more exposure. And when we are focused on several very top players and on a couple of top streamers, that is missing an opportunity to showcase how big is the game, how much talent we have in the chess world, East and West again, not only West, not only East, but there is a lot of things which remain uncovered, and I think not for a good reason.
Mhm. Well, Emil, these were very interesting points. Thank you for sharing. You did mention something about like Mr. Beast in this, and whether he's very influential or not in the world of things. But what I see from what he's doing on YouTube, he's managed to create businesses through YouTube, or does social projects. So maybe there is a possibility that all of this which is happening eventually could funnel into the projects that are happening on ground through FIDE or through various national federations, and like this ecosystem of creators and on ground could come together in some ways. It could be win-win for all.
That's a good point you make, and let's say you're always trying to remain positive. I always try to remain realistic. I think that the high time for those who rely on subscribers for and so on, it was already a couple of years ago, and as aftermath of Queen's Gambit, because now the market is in general is quite saturated with what happened. I mean, there is no clearly not exponential growth, and maybe not a significant one. And we as FIDE were always open to these cooperations, but somehow it didn't happen. It didn't happen for a number of reasons. I wouldn't. I mean, partly maybe FIDE was inactive, was not active enough in this sphere. But the doors are always open, and when we organized our events, I think we invited both Levi several times, Anna Kramling several times, Botas a couple of times, and so on. So it's possible, and of course it will produce something. And Mr. Beast, of course, he organizes something. I'm just saying that the sheer number of his subscribers doesn't correspond to the influence he has. That is not the same, because that was the point. Of course, if you have 200 million people subscribe to you or whatever is the number. And if you have every clip of you watched by few millions, you are in a way impactful. But it's not a linear correlation that, and even not even far from that. I mean, so that is my take. And talking about the cooperation, you know yourself, we have been always open to it, and as long as we see that there is a win-win, it doesn't have to be a financial win. It can be a promotional win, for example, for events which we do for kids or for social programs. But my take is that taking things in proportion is very important here. It's very easy to neglect what I'm saying now by just pretending, yes, but I had such numbers, and yes, and so many people are subscribed to this or that channel. That's not exactly the way it works in the real world. All of us, we are a bit misled by the whole concept of how social media work, how these numbers work, and what's their impact on real life.
Okay, that's very cool. Just last, my take on this is this project called Help Chess, which we run, and when we stream many times, we ask people to contribute, and then they do it, and then it goes to the young talents. I do see a kind of positive correlation of online space and then on real ground going to the young talents, and it is interesting if this could expand further. And yeah, I mean, overall, but from your point of view, what you mentioned is proportion is important. And yeah, I thank you for your feedback here and for all the thoughts that you've shared.
Yeah, I could go in length and continue, so I think we should stop somewhere. But one final point, not only the number, but the perception, how you basically present your content. What's the message you are trying to pass through it. And when you mention your initiatives, I think let's say your subscribers, they are coming for your channel for a different type of content, and this is much more closely connected with how FIDE operates. And I think it's quite natural that we have been cooperating, and we found several angles for cooperation throughout these years. And it started not because we lured you in being a very successful streamer. It started when you were, I think, in your, let's not first steps, but let's say we're not as popular as you are today.
Yeah.
And
2019 was when I think
yes,
we, sorry, 2017 FIDE World Cup.
yes,
Yeah, so
yes. So said that again, no offense to anyone, but I'm happy that in my position, I still can say things which I believe they are, and not seek an approval for I don't know, some sort of diplomatic way to convey the message. I might be wrong, but prove me wrong, not by, let's say, some statements, but with arguments, and that's fine.
thank you, Emil, for your time and for this interview. We covered a lot of topics, and I know you are very busy, so thank you for this.
Thank you, Sagar.